Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your full moon reading for November 14th, 2016. I had hoped I would get this done before the actual day of the new moon, but I didn't. So the new moon actually happened at around 9 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time. That's when it hit its fullness, but the moon is still in Taurus as I'm doing this. So, I'm traveling at the moment, so this is another kind of makeshift video. And I sort of just feel like jumping into the cards. I did the Lenormand cards because I wanted something kind of concrete. But as you know, if you've watched these videos at all, I do tend to stretch Lenormand also into spiritual and personal development and kind of more metaphysical topics too. And I also brought the Ellis deck, so I will pull a single tarot card from that. I never really say this, but I want to thank those of you who have subscribed and those who comment and like the videos. So just so you know, thanks very much. All right, on to the cards. Okay. Interesting. I like it. Okay. All right. So, this is kind of an interesting reading because the full moon tends to talk about things which are culminating, things upon which a bright light is being shown. And because this is a full moon in Taurus, we think about issues of, for example, love and money, because those are things that Venus rules, because Venus rules Taurus. And Taurus has a lot to do with the sensual experiences of life, the five senses, your local environment, the things close to you on a day-to-day basis. That's very Taurian. And the value that you place on those. So it can have to do with things that you feel great affection and love for, and it can do with money, what you think things are worth, whether or not you think you are being treated in the way that you ought to be valued. So there's a lot of that energy right now, and I think it's great because what's been happening is as so many people have been making big changes in their lives and making decisions to move forward, the constant refrain, I guess I would say, from the cards has been to make sure that you're examining the things you're moving forward towards and that you really want them, that you love them, that you desire them, that you didn't just pick up something new out of discomfort with the old, but that you're actually aiming towards something that you really care about. And if it's not what you really care about, it doesn't mean that you have to throw it away, but that you make course adjustments. So with that in mind, let's look at the central card, which is Bear. So Bear, number 15, is a card that has a lot to do with personal strength and stability. So this we could see as the card of your current state, right? And Bear can also be seen as encompassing the first house of self. So when you're feeling strong and in charge and in command, then you're feeling like the Bear. And Bear is a card that can also have to do with authority figures and boss figures. So we'll talk about how those authority figures might work in. But if the Bear is you, then you should be starting to feel more stable than you felt in a while, like things are evening out and you're starting to feel secure on your own feet again. And you probably did start something new because we've got the Child in the past position, and that signifies new beginnings or new endeavors, things that are still small to begin with or in early stages, but things that have enthusiasm and bright sparks and prospects to them. And then at the end, we have the Cross. Now, the cross has a couple different meanings, and they can seem rather different from each other. So you'll have to sort of see how you think it fits. The cross, in its most concerning form, I guess, can be a burden. It's your cross to bear. And that cross to bear can feel difficult. So one way that we could read this, for example, because bear symbols sort of this in charge quality, let's say you recently got a new position that's put you in charge of other people. You may be finding that to be a burden. That may be something that you're having to work with. Now, the bear is very strong in terms of stamina and strength. It's really the strongest card in the deck besides the mountain. And the mountain isn't exactly animated. So of the cards that are animated, the bear is the strongest. And as you think about bears who can survive a long winter hibernating, the bear has a lot of stamina. The bear can get through a lot. So there's no reason to think that the burden is going to be too much for the bear, but it may be that with your new situation, whatever it is, and it could even be a new relationship with someone, it could be a new business venture, it could be a new job, it could be a new project that you've taken on with an organization or on your own, and you find that you're in charge or you're having to exert a lot of your own resources. Bear can be a card of resources, your own personal resources, your resourcefulness. So it could be that you're using your own monetary resources, but it could also be the resources of your time, of your energy. And so you may find that you've been recently put into a position where you're drawing on those resources, like a bear would in hibernation. And you may find that to be somewhat burdensome. But the other side of the cross card is that cross can signify spiritual gifts or enlightenment, spiritual understanding, things that have a very deep, profound meaning. So it could be that you've started something new and it's tougher than you thought it was going to be. It's requiring more of you than you thought it would. And yet you are persisting because there's something in it that seems so valuable. And that's where we get into that Taurus full moon. There is value in this thing. The cross is something which is very dear, which has a lot of value, which is it's a treasure beyond price, if you will. And because the bear sees it that way, and even in this card, the bear is aiming that direction, right? The bear is aiming sort of toward the cross and sort of up toward the heavens, that the bear is willing to exert personal resources because the goal is valuable, is that valuable. The goal is that dear. So another way you could think of this too is that whatever is now in your care, a project, it could be an actual child, a project, a person, an endeavor, even a brand new relationship, you're strong enough to deal with the cost if you value it enough, if it's spiritually rewarding enough, if you feel it's really worthwhile. And that is Taurus right there. What do you value? What do you care about? The bear, if the bear cares about it, then the bear is strong enough. The bear is strong enough to get through any burden. But it has to really matter. It has to be dear. It has to be beloved. It has to be deeply and passionately committed to. And the bear is not a very fly-by-night character as you can think of, right? Bears are they're very focused in their intent. And so this is the same issue, I suppose, that we've seen come up in some other readings, which is, what do you really care about? Because if you're really focused upon it, you are strong enough. You may feel, if we look at the child, you may feel like you're too new at it, you're too inexperienced, you're too weak, you don't have the kind of personal authority that you need or the kind of personal power that you need to carry this through. But Bear says you do, as long as it is worth enough to you, as long as the goal is valuable enough to you, you are strong enough, you are experienced enough, you can handle the authority, you can work your way through the difficulties if you love it, but only if you love it. So let me get the tarot card here and we'll see if this clarifies or confuses. Ah, so great. I think you saw this one before from a previous reading. It's the Hermit. I know it's a little hard to see because it's sort of a dark card, but this Hermit is an unusual one because the Hermit is holding a lantern, which is not so unusual, but it's also riding a tortoise, and the tortoise has a little snail on its head. So we have a lot of, these cards are independent characters, right? And the bear is also an independent character. The bear is his own boss, so to speak. So this is a situation where maybe you've decided to step out on your own into some kind of new project or entrepreneurship, or maybe you're getting your own place, or in some way you are stepping out from the auspices of somebody else. And you might feel that you're too inexperienced to do it, or that you're worried you're going to make a mistake. But Bear says you have the power to step out on your own, to be your own boss in this particular situation. And the Hermit emphasizes that enlightenment, and this is a very spiritual card, which ties in with the spiritual meaning of this card, that enlightenment comes through these endeavors, through these risks that you take on your own, these times that you challenge yourself for good reasons. The Hermit is pursuing truth and enlightenment. These are good reasons for him to be out there in the snow and shining that lantern. And so as long as your reasons are good and passionately held, you are strong enough. And doing these things is going to make you even stronger. It's going to be a very valuable experience for you. So hopefully that means for me too, in the things that I'm trying to do. I love this reading. I think it's fantastic. So go be the Hermit in the best possible way, meaning feel self-sufficient, feel resourceful, know that you have enough answers to do what you need to do, know that you are the boss of yourself, and that there are great spiritual rewards in doing what you hold dear. So that's what there is for this week, I think. I wasn't really going to sum up the cards, but I think I have time to do it. Let's see. So that's 28, 58 plus 6 is 64, which makes 10. And 10 is, wait, all of a sudden I'm going, 10 is the whip, but 10 is not the whip. 10 is 10 scythe? All of a sudden I totally blanked. Okay, so this is interesting. So it sums up to 10, which is scythe. Now this scythe actually has a baby on it, and baby, we can sort of think it connected with this child card. There is sort of the end of something and the beginning of something new, and the scythe can mean overall that this change that you've been thrust into may feel kind of sudden. It may feel kind of shocking, but it also has the possibility of a great harvest, just like a scythe helps cut the wheat, and we're in the middle of harvest time. This could be a great harvest for you if you just lean back on your strengths and have faith in yourself. So until next time, rock on.